Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. And for anyone that's new here, my name is Megan and I'm very glad that you stopped by because this is my weekly backyard garden tour and harvest. And friends, I'm so excited to share everything that's going on back there. Hey friends, real quick, before we go in the backyard garden, I do want to introduce my husband, Obi. Now I have showed him on the videos before, but he is responsible for that entire backyard garden. He's built everything and he just finished the platforms for the green stalks. I'm going to show you back there in just a few moments. They're finally stacked and I'm so grateful for him. So thank you, honey. His name is Obi, and go ahead and say something.
You're welcome. And hey, everybody. Bye, everybody.
I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. All right, before we go in the backyard garden, because there's so much I want to share with you all, I do want to probably share this with you every week because this is the green stalk that I'm growing cabbages and all sorts of fall goodies, and I cannot get over how much it's growing. Now, I do a monthly green stalk garden tour and harvest video to show everything that's going on in the green stalks because there's just too much to show in one video a week, but I think it is worth checking this out every week for a green stalk, or not green stalk, for our backyard garden tours. Oh, and also friends, I do want to mention before we get going here, if there are any specific videos that you want me to do for winter gardening, the remainder of fall gardening, or anything else that would be helpful for you, because I do plan to winter garden because my goal is to garden throughout the entire year as much as possible with frost covers. Please let me know if you do have any ideas or things that you want me to address in a video. I would be happy to do so. All right, friends, look at this green stalk. I'm telling you, I am so impressed. It's not even funny. So I have 2 cabbages on top. I have 2 Georgia collards, and then I have those 2 pink amaranths. And I actually forgot to harvest some last week when I was doing my garden tour video, but I'm not gonna harvest any right now just because I am losing light and there's so many tomatoes that we actually have to harvest. But friends, I want you to see how big this is. Look at my hand and look at that leaf. It's massive. I've never grown collards before, but I am super, super impressed. And then I do have broccoli throughout the green stalk as well as the carrots. The carrots are doing pretty good down there. I still have some calendula growing. And I am just super excited. Now, I will tell you, I think broccoli does amazing in green stalks, and I think kale does amazing as well. And everything's looking really good. We do actually have some cayenne peppers that I do want to harvest with you. And can you believe this, friends? Our weather is not showing any frost in sight. I only see the low 40s. And I'm surprised, which, you know, I mean, that's more time for me to grow things. But yeah. We're already in November and I don't see a frost coming anytime soon. All right, so I am going to start on this side of the garden because you can see the sun is starting to go down a little bit and evening times are the only time that I can get out here. And also I want to show you the platforms that he leveled into the ground for the green stalks. So I do want to show you some of the snap peas on the trellis. I think these are doing really good. I just put this up over the summertime and I used it for cherry tomatoes because the spring season was already over and the cherry tomatoes did okay. But you guys, I am really enjoying this for the snap peas, and we actually do have quite a bit that we can harvest. And as far as the lettuce, friends, it just doesn't really look like it's growing a whole lot. I'm kind of wondering if maybe the weather will get a little bit cooler, it'll start to grow more. I'm not really sure. I think it's kind of strange that they're just the same size every week, but we'll see what happens. I'm not going to pull them out yet. All right, friends, I am super excited for these green stalks. So you can see he leveled them into the ground, and you could also see how the ground is not even. So we had to make sure those were steady We don't want the green stalks to fall over, but the terracotta as well as the blueberry are both full of garlic. And now that this one is all put together, I am more than likely going to fill this with broccoli, cauliflower, kale, all sorts of stuff so I can put a frost cover over it, because as you saw, between squirrels and rabbits and all sorts of stuff, they just eat everything back here. So I didn't want to plant anything in here until this was put together so that I can put a frost cover over it. Now, what I also plan to do once March comes, and I shared this last week, is I am going to be putting some of my onion starts back here just to see how it does on the driveway compared to the backyard. All right, let's take a look at these, because I did just plant a few starts, and actually, friends, I was just looking and these did start getting chewed up, so I'm probably gonna have to put some trash cans over those. I really thought maybe they wouldn't see them, but I was wrong. So I did put a kale in here, and these on the outside are the leeks. I did leave those in after I took the zinnias out, hoping that they'll get a little bit bigger because the zinnias were covering them all summer. And then these bags, for the most part, has the kohlrabi, and we've got snap peas, and they're all doing really good. But like I just said, I'm gonna have to come out here and cover those. And even these bags are doing really good. Now, I will say I'm a little disappointed. The Pablo lettuce looks like it is going to seed on me, so I might have to put another one or something. Now, I do plan to start more seeds, friends, especially for the winter garden. I'm not sure if I'm going to do them in my garage or start them outside and then put them in the garage, but I do plan to start more seedlings. And over here, I also did the same thing. I have kale starts in each one of these bags with leeks surrounding them. These were starts that I had in my green stalk seed starting tray. They were looking absolutely beautiful, growing really nice, and so I put those in these bags. Oh, look, I found a snap pea, friends. Oh my goodness, I think this is the Oregon Giant. Yes, it is. This is one of my favorite snap peas, the Oregon Giants. Not only are they big, as you can see, but they're so crispy and they taste delicious. Now, I do have peppers in those. Oh, there we go. I do have peppers in these two bags back here, and I think there's actually some to harvest because I was just harvesting some snap peas and I saw this cutie pie right here. So, and I believe that this is a bell pepper. Friends, look at how gorgeous this is. Oh my goodness, this makes me so happy. I'm harvesting bell peppers in November. I cannot tell you. All right, let's see, can I do it? Oh, okay, I did. I cannot tell you how much this makes me happy. I do have two poblano peppers, but I'm gonna leave those there because they're still kind of small. Let's see what other peppers there are. Oh, I found another bell pepper. I'm gonna leave this one to grow just a little bit more, hopefully. And I think this might be an Anaheim chili, so we're gonna take this one. I know what this one is, but it's not blushing yet. It's a Jimmy Nardello. Now, since we're gonna have a warmer week, I'm gonna leave this on here and see if it'll blush a bit. Oh, I just found this poblano. I'm not gonna take this one yet though either. All right, so I'm actually not really sure which one this is, but I'm gonna take this one anyways, and maybe it'll blush in the house. And look at, I'm dropping stuff. Isn't that lovely? Oh wow, friends, look at all those Jimmy Nardellos down there. So hopefully these will blush too. All right, so since we're over in this little nook area, because there's a ton of tomatoes that I want to harvest, but we're right here and the lighting is still pretty good. But friends, I want you to look at all of these tomatoes. I'm gonna grab some right now. I want you to look at that. Look at how many tomatoes are all over these. These are bush tomatoes in grow bags, and it's November. It's crazy to me. I'm super excited, but we're gonna go ahead and harvest a couple of these right now, and then we have more tomatoes to harvest in the other beds. All right, so I'm on the other side, and I'm telling you, friends, this is so fun. I cannot believe how many tomatoes are growing. By the way, this tomato plant that is growing out of the ground and kind of vining up my stairs, make sure you take a tomato. So here's what I did. I took a couple cherry tomatoes and I smashed them in the ground because next year I may get some volunteers. All right, so since I just harvested a few tomatoes, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish grabbing the rest of the tomatoes in the garden, and then we'll go back there and see if there's any green beans. All right, friends, there is way more tomatoes than I thought there was. Either they grew in the last week and I just didn't realize it, but there's so many green tomatoes. So either we have some to harvest next week for the next garden tour, or if I see that the potential of frost is going to come, then I will just harvest all the green tomatoes. But you guys, I don't see frost coming anytime soon, so I'm not complaining, but I'm super excited. All right, so here's what I'm talking about. Look at all these tomatoes here. There's some up there, and this is just one bed. There's another, all the other beds have a bunch of little clusters of tomatoes everywhere. Look at that. And friends, look at this gorgeous looking tomato. It's big. And I'm not gonna touch this until it starts to blush, unless, like I said, the potential of frost comes. And then those are still over there back there. I don't know if you can see them. So this is how all these beds are. And like I said, I'm super excited about it. Now we're gonna go over there and harvest any green beans. Let's see if there's any tomatoes over there. And I also planted everything back there. But before we go over there, I did redo all of the lettuce over here. Now for some reason, these squirrels or rabbits love to come in here and dig holes, and I was considering putting something over them, but I don't have $1 million trash cans, so I'm just gonna hope that they don't touch them. When I actually was back here the other day, I saw that these green beans were over here, and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that you guys were back here. So I'm so glad that we have some to harvest. By the way, friends, these yellow ones, I believe are the Cherokee wax, and I got these from the Dollar Tree. They do so well that I think if I don't have any more, I plan to probably buy some more next spring. All right, I keep forgetting about this one over here, but I think we have some green beans over here too. As far as everything else that I planted over here, so all of these bags finally are planted with something in the middle, and thankfully I haven't had to throw any more starts in the middle of these bags. So it's pretty much just cabbage, collards, or actually no, just cabbage and collards. It's just that there's a few different varieties of cabbages that I put in here, but they're all planted. And then these are doing pretty good too. I mean, they still look pretty eaten up, but the middles are fine, so I'm gonna leave it alone. And I did stick a lettuce over here as well. All right, so I don't see any tomatoes except for these two that are ready to be harvested. Let's see if I can get that on camera. Here we go. We have more too, look at those. I do want to quickly mention my goal with these back pallets, because I was just back here just trying to figure out exactly what to do. And by the way, I did finish planting the garlic down there. I'll show it to you in just a moment. But I think what I'm going to be doing is taking out all the green beans in these pallets and then planting a lot of my starts, because a lot of my starts are just looking fabulous. Some of them were looking kind of bad, and now they're just doing really good. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is fill these back pallets. And I did make frost covers fit to size for these pallets while using bamboo sticks to hold them up. So that is my overall goal with the back here. And as much as I would love to clear out these beds and start putting cabbages and broccoli and all sorts of stuff in there, because of all of the tomatoes, I just don't have the heart to take them out yet. So my goal is to start back here and take everything out, and then depending on where we are at weather-wise, I'll probably then start taking down these beds and putting frost covers over them and some new starts. I just saw that we have some jalapenos back here, and this is in a 1-gallon grow bag, friends. That excites me. By the way, I also have some tomatoes over here. Now these haven't turned blush, but this has, and I think there might be 1 or 2 more on this trellising system we can grab. All right, yeah, this one is actually starting to blush, but I'm gonna leave that one there. I don't see any more. All right, so since I'm kind of losing light, I did try to get a few green beans, but I didn't thoroughly pick through them. I'll probably do that later on this week because I do want to quickly show you the peppers before we completely lose lighting. But friends, I took these last 2 pallets and I stuck the rest of the garlic in here. Except for this corner one, I have the Brussels sprout in there covered. If you remember, that got chomped down, but it's starting to grow a little bit more because they didn't get the middle. And then I do have some calendula on the side. But my goal was to put the remainder of the garlic in grow bags because I cannot remember if I grew garlic in grow bags. And the reason I have insect covering, not frost covers, I will not put frost covers over these, but the reason I have the insect covering is because these squirrels love to dig holes or whatever it is that digs holes, and so I wanted to cover them so that they did not dig up the garlic cloves. And as far as this trellising system, because things are starting to grow pretty tall, I am more than likely going to be putting frost covers over these so that these plants have room to grow. That is more than likely what I'm going to be doing on that side as well as this side, which, by the way, I was just thinking that jicama over there, we'll be harvesting those probably, I don't know, in the next couple of weeks. All right, I do want to quickly show you this bed, but I also want to see if we have any peppers to harvest. All right, friends, we do have a couple of peppers that we're going to harvest together. I'm actually going to quickly harvest some and throw them in the basket. All right, friends, look at all these red cayennes. I'm so happy to see these. Last year, I want to say this might be my 2nd or 3rd attempt at growing red cayennes, and while I wouldn't say I was completely unsuccessful, this year, they're doing the best, and it makes me really excited. I feel like we have so many peppers, friends, but I want to give it just a little bit more time. I'm going to hold off on the Tabasco peppers too, just because, like I said, the week is going to be pretty warm considering that we're in November. Oh, that one came off, so I guess we're going to take you. But I just want to see if we can let them blush a little bit more or get a little larger. Before we check out these peppers, friends, look at this bed. I am so excited. Look at these cabbages. Look at the collards. So I am not going to harvest these yet because I want to make sure that when I harvest them, I'm ready to go cook them right away. So maybe what I'll do is next week, I'll try to think of something so we can harvest them together and I can make a meal. But I am so excited, and you'll see there's bug pressure. But again, if that middle is okay, just don't even bother to take it out. Just leave it and see what it does. And the kale is doing amazing. I'm very excited about that. We've got broccoli in here. This is a kohlrabi. Now, this is the first time I'm ever growing kohlrabi, so I am looking forward to seeing how that grows. And then, yeah, everything is doing really good. Now, this is a red Russian kale. I've never grown it before, but so far it's doing really good. And then, friends, look at this. Hopefully you can see those cucumbers. They're right here and here. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I don't expect, and there's another one over here. I am not expecting anything, but I don't have to pull them out. And if I can get even one cucumber, that will make me really happy. So I was surprised to see those. I didn't even notice they were on there. They were growing on top of the insect netting. So we'll have to see if we get anything. And then this cherry tomato growing out of the ground is still growing like crazy. Look at all these. I've been letting the cherry tomatoes just fall on the ground so they can grow again next year, but it is just growing wild. And then this side is also doing really good. I'm not going to open that because I did plant this later than this bed, which is why this bed is further along, I should say, in growing than this one is, but everything's looking really good, friends. And here's all the starts. So they just completely blossomed even more in the last week, and they just look so healthy. And I'm trying to figure out homes for them. So these are going to be going in the green stalk, some other bags. And this is where I'm like, I don't know, should I rip a bed apart? And I don't know, we'll have to see. When I come out here, my brain starts going and I start thinking about stuff. I just randomly will start to do things. So you just never know with my garden. All right, for our last bed, so I can show you the harvest before I lose the light over there. But first, look at that dahlia. I'm gonna miss dahlias so much. They're so pretty. And the sweet alyssum, very, very pretty. All right, so I do have some peppers. I don't really think I'm going to be harvesting much because it looks like they still need a little bit of time to grow. And I want to make sure that I am giving it time if I do have a little bit of time. There's another one right there. So I think we're going to let these stay on the plant. Okay, that Santa Fe has got to be a hot one. Let's take that one. I just saw it. All right, I did see these and I wanted to show them to you. So I believe these are the Joe Numex. So I'm gonna wait for these to blush, or yeah, is that Numex Joe Parker? Let's get that right, Megan. Numex Joe Parker. I'm gonna wait for these hopefully to flush. If not, I'll pick them next week or the week after. And then friends, look at this. I saw this over here earlier and that got me super excited, but I'm not gonna grab those because I do want them to get a little bit darker if I can hold off on harvesting those. And I saw there's more up there too. They're everywhere. Actually, I just saw some shishitos. Let's grab these real quick. Okay, the plant wants to cover them completely. Here we go. By the way, friends, I do have the potatoes back here. I can't wait to harvest these with you guys. I want to dig in here so bad, but I really shouldn't. All right, let's go ahead and see the harvest. So I want to quickly add before we see the harvest that my goal for the next week or two, because we still have some pretty good weather, is to clean up, plant some more things, start some more seeds, and start gearing up for the winter, because I'm sure the frost is going to come at some point. And so that is going to be my goal for the next week or two. And then of course, I also plan to close out my planner for the summer and start making some very detailed notes about what worked this summer and what didn't work. So definitely make sure you're taking notes, as maybe you already did because we are technically fall, almost winter, but I personally have not made all my notes because I still have tomatoes and peppers growing, and I want to make sure that I'm taking notes from summer going into the fall time because of the weather here. So I just wanted to quickly add that. So in the next couple of weeks with the backyard garden tours and harvest, you're going to see some changes back here because I'm going to be doing some cleaning up, hopefully putting some frost covers on or insect covers, and just getting this winter garden growing. All right, now let's go ahead and see the harvest. All right, friends, I am so excited for all these tomatoes. And by the way, I should say my oldest daughter finally helped me to clean the basket because it was just super filthy and I just haven't had a chance to clean it. But you guys, I am so excited about all these tomatoes and the fact that there's more tomatoes, because this means more salsa and more sauces and freezer meals for me and the family. So I am beyond excited. Look at all these plum tomatoes. So these are a bunch of different varieties of plum tomatoes, as you guys know, because I grew a bunch of different varieties in the beds. And then I did put the other tomatoes, like cherry tomatoes, kind of sandwich sized tomatoes, in the middle because I like to keep them separated. And then as they're falling down, and then I did put the hot peppers in here. So we have the cayenne, what else did I put in there? I'm forgetting already, friends. But the cayenne, the Santa Fe hot pepper, and then I left the jalapenos in with the green beans because I know that they're not green beans, so I can take those out. And then over here, friends, I have all of the peppers that are not hot. And then I did put some of the really large tomatoes in here just to keep them separated. But friends, this is super exciting for me. I am very happy that in the month of November, I am harvesting all of this food. All right, now let's go ahead and see the green beans. And then we have the green beans, friends. So we do have a mix of green beans. There's the jalapeno peppers that I was talking about. So a nice, good little harvest of green beans. And I think there's gonna be a few more that I'll harvest, but I will say overall, I've harvested enough that I would need for the winter time, at least until spring or next summer when I go ahead and plant some more. But very excited about the green beans. And oh my goodness, friends, I forgot like all the sweet peas. So they're in there, they're at the bottom there, but I'm really excited to have sweet peas again because they're just really delicious to eat fresh or sauteed. Well, friends, thanks so much for stopping by. I always look forward to these garden tours and harvest with you because this garden brings me so much joy, and I want to share that with you all. Plus, it really does give me such peace of mind to grow this food for my family so that we have fresh produce right in our backyard as well as our driveway. And know, friends, that I appreciate every single one of you, and I always look forward to seeing you guys next time. And remember this, friends, I want you to be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. I sure do love fall time.